Hey everyone, I want to ask you a question. How do you feel right now? I don't mean you physical way, I mean inside. We all go around carrying a backpack, but it's not full of clothes or books, it's full of Sundays. Someday I will apologize, someday I will start that hobby, someday I will take care of my heel. We think that putting things off make the life easier. We think I will do it later so I can relax now. But let's be honest, do you ever feel actually relaxed? When you sit on the couch to watch a movie, isn't there is some tiny voice in the back of your head whispering about the things you didn't do? That is the way of waiting. Every time you delay on drink, on conversation, or on task, you put on rug in the backpack. And as for years carrying it, we feel exhausted. Not because we are moving too fast, but because we are carrying too much of what we have not done. But here is the real question. Why do we pick up this rug in the first place? Why do we choose to carry this way instead of just doing the work? Usually it's because we are waiting for a very specific magical feeling to arrive. And that brings us to the biggest lie we tell ourselves. I am just waiting until I am ready. We treat readiness like it is a book stop. We think if we stand there long enough, the ready bus will arrive, pick it up, and take us to the success city without any effort. We think that one morning we will wake up with zero fear as 100 confidence. But here is the hard truth. The bus is not coming. You're never going to feel completely ready. Parents are not ready for their first baby. Artists are not ready for their first exhibition. Speakers are not ready for their first speech. They just do it anyway. Courage isn't the accent of fear. It's acting despite the fear. You have to change the order. You don't get ready and then start. You start and then you become ready. Actions create the feeling, not the other way around. Now, you maybe think, okay, I am not ready, but I just still don't want to mess it up. I want to be safe. And the desire of safety leads us to the dangerous calculation. We convince ourselves that staying still is the safe option. We think that is we don't try, we can fail, and if we can fail, we are protected. But let's look at the math. What is the actual cost of playing it safe? Imagine you had a beautiful classic car, but you are terrified of the scratching it. So you leave it in the garage, you cover it up, you never drive it. 10 years later, is the perfect car? No. The battery is dead, the tires are flat, the engine is sized. Then by trying to protect it, you actually ruin it. You are the car. Your potential, your luck, your talent, they are meant to be used. They are meant to be driving on the road. We all that bumps and scratches. Unlike without scratches is unlike without miles. So, is we know that safety is actually rust in this gas, how do we get to the engine running again? How do we move when we have been parked for so long? The problem is that we overcomplicated the solution. We look at the rust, we look at the heavy backpack, and we think we need a grand, massive plan to fix all over the night, and the pressure paralyzes us again. So I want you to lower the bar, forget the grand plan. Let's use the 2-minute rule. If you want to read more, don't promise to read and book a week. Just read one page. If you want to get fit, don't promise to run a marathon. Just put on your running shoes. There is a magic in a start. Once you take the first step, the second step is almost automatic. The hardest part of going to the gym is not the lifting the weights. It's just putting on your shoes and walking out of the door. You need to break the seal. Do the smallest possible thing you can do it today. Because when you start moving, the views change. And when you finally start moving, you realize something else. Something that put all of this into perspective. You realize that we don't have the luxury of waiting forever. I want to zoom out for a second. We act like we had infinite time. We say the next year, the next summer, when I retire. But the time is a non-renewable resource. You can lose money and you make it back. You can lose a job and get another one. But you cannot get back this Tuesday. This isn't mean to scaring you. It's mean to wake you up. There are people who will give you anything to hack the time you had right now. There are people who ran out the time yesterday. If you knew it, really knew it, how precious this day was, you wouldn't have wasted it worry about the scratches on the car. You wouldn't have wasted it carrying the backpacks of Sundays. You will leave. You will say I love you. You will launch the project. Life is an unlimited time offer, and that leads us with one final choice to make right now. So here's my challenge to you. Pick one thing, just one thing, that you has been carrying in the heavy backpack, and phone call, and decision, and project, and workout, and do it today, right now. Not tomorrow. Tomorrow isn't fantasy. Today is real. Drop the rock, be light, be free, start. If this kind of content is helping you, don't forget to subscribe to our channel.